What's going on, guys? Welcome to Hysteria Radio. You got Mike. This month, punk rock overlords Pennywise will be returning to their beloved Australian fans to unleash upon us their formative album Full Circle from start to finish. The album was released back in 1997 and was talismanic to the scene from the get-go. Hell, it even debuted in the top 20 of our album charts. The release was the first from the band since the untimely passing of bassist Jason Thirsk by his own hand. As a result, the record is heavily informed by mental health, struggling with the human condition, and ultimately, how to rise above it all. It just so happened that the 20th anniversary of the album lines up with a period of mass awakening regarding mental health in music. The tour couldn't have come at a better time. Before their arrival, we caught up with key ingredient Fletcher for a chat. Fletcher, man, very stoked to get a chance to chat with you today. So this tour has absolutely snuck up on us. You'll be here in a matter of weeks. But how's everything in your world today?
Oh, my world's all right. I'm dealing with an IRS audit, so not the best of circumstances. But I'm just sitting around crunching numbers.
Oh, damn!
Living the dream.
Wow, so I'm pretty sure my knowledge of audits like that goes as far as back as the Simpsons episode about it. So, unfortunately, I got no help for you here, man.
All right, I'll figure it out.
Awesome. Well, it's very cool to get a chance to chat with you because considering just how quickly your upcoming run of Australian tour dates has snuck up on us. I mean, it's a bit of a head trip to think we're already in October. So I imagine you guys are getting your head around this tour right now. So tell me, you must be buzzed to be getting back.
Yeah. I mean, for us, Australia is one of the best places to play in the world, hands down. Energy, crowd, fans. Have been with us for a long time. I mean, from the first time we played Oz is one of the most memorable experiences of my life, or of the band's career, all the way up to, About Time on the last run. It just never disappoints. Good people, good beer, good weather. It's a good time. So we're totally stoked to get down there and bring Full Circle. You guys deserve it. We tested the waters with About Time. You guys were the first ones to get the About Time album in its entirety, and it went so hard and off the hook that we decided to do it, in a few spots in America, and then we wound up doing the whole country with About Time, and it was awesome. And so we're bringing you guys Full Circle. I mean, we'll make all the mistakes in Australia and get it all done there. You guys will be so drunk, you won't know the difference, but. Now, seriously, it's going to be off the hook, and having the Bronx out with us, it's just going to be a good night.
Hell yeah. Well, it's especially cool that this time it's Full Circle. One thing I didn't notice at the time, of course, I wasn't probably looking at these things when I was that age. But I didn't realize just how well the album actually charted in Australia when it was released. And I know that's not really the most important thing, and sometimes more often than not, it's the least important thing. But it's cool to think back and know that we kind of resonated with you guys and with punk rock and with that world so early on. How weird was it, or awesome or head trip for you back in the day when this album charted so well in our weird part of the world?
It's definitely, been the whole ride's been a head trip. We're not really about charting or singles on the radio. We're just about really fighting to make a good record, and then hopefully, the fans are stoked on it. But Australia's definitely come through with us, for us every time. But around About Time record, that's when everyone was blowing up on the radio. Green Day and Offspring and Rancid and all this stuff was going on, and we had a little success, but we just weren't the Offspring. We weren't Rancid. We were just kind of under the radar. We weren't playing the game as much as some bands would have back in those days. We were just kind of keeping it more for the fans and the hardcore fans. And when Full Circle came out, I'll never forget Brett. We sat down in a meeting and he said, and that's when you wanted a single for the radio. That's when it was hot. Everyone wanted to be the next Green Day or Nirvana, and Brett sat down and said, yeah, this song's got no radio singles on it, no radio potential. We're not trying to go commercial on this. We're just trying to concentrate on your fans. And we were like, hell yeah. So that's what they did, and I think that's who we still looked out was our fans, and that's it. Our fans are our number one priority. It's not about getting famous or becoming millionaires. It's about playing music you believe in with a message you believe in, and getting that out to your fans and having them say, "Fuck yeah, you did us proud again." So I think we did that with Full Circle. A lot of emotion, a lot of passion on that record, and to be able to go play it from start to finish, in Australia is beyond a dream, I guess. Something I never thought would happen. Never thought we'd play Full Circle start to finish ever, let alone in Australia. So it's gonna be something for the record books, I think.
Right on. Well, it is it's surprising to hear that you thought you would never play this one, because from a fan perspective, this feels like it's such a strong album and a fan favorite. Why did you think that you'd never get the opportunity to do it?
Well, I mean, you didn't. This whole trend of bands playing an entire album from start to finish, started, who knows, 20, 30 years ago. I don't know with who, but in the punk rock community, it was like 8 or 9 years ago bands started doing this, so we were like, we're not going to do this. But Full Circle, it's a whole different animal. I mean, this record is so hardcore, and it's got so much stuff going on. I mean, we're not very technical guys. Like, none of us have been professionally trained. I took one guitar lesson, Byron probably took 0 drum lessons. And we all just grew up in bands as teenagers, learning our own styles and how to play. Well, when we went back to listen to this Full Circle record to go to band practice and find out if we can play it, it's insane. Like, at this time in my life, I'm like, how in the fuck did we play this? How did I remember this? Like, there's so many parts. There's so many little tiny things. Like, I'm not Yngwie Malmsteen. I'm not a technical guy, but like, there's a lot of stuff on this record that went into it, and I just, there's probably 6 or 7 songs on this record that we've never played live. Or
wow.
We played like 1 or 2 times in 20 years. Yeah. Like, there's songs that have almost never, I guarantee have never seen the light of day. And if something's seen the light of day, it might have been like one time, like, that's too hard to play live. They're that hard they're that hard vocally, it's just a lot going on. So going in and playing something like I don't even know what the song's called. Did You Really? I think it's called Did You Really, the last song on the record. Do You Really Want to Die?
Okay.
We never played that song ever.
Wow.
We played it at band practice, and we played it in the studio, and that's it. I mean, that song is, it's about Jason going, passing away. So obviously it's not something that we want to bring out at shows and stuff. It's a very emotional song, but it's also insanely fast, and there's just a lot of stuff on this record that I just figured we haven't played it in 20 years. Like, we played it once and it was like, no, that's too fucking hard. We fucked it up. It's too much to throw in a live show, because you got a lot going on in a live show and you want to make sure you play everything well. Some of these songs are so difficult, so fast, that we just haven't played them. So this is going to be an insane challenge for the band, and it's going to be like a real blowout for the fans, because if we're able to go out there and get it done, I think the energy level is just going to be off the hook.
Hell yeah.
Crazy.
Now, I think that the message behind Full Circle is a really important one as well. A lot of the tracks, even the ones you mentioned, like Did You Really? And then, of course, the addition of Brohim at the bottom. So, I mean, there was so much substance in this record. There was so much that you could sink your teeth into, discussing kind of, I guess, mental health and things along those lines. I feel that this topic has now reared its head again in the music community, and it's now become so prevalent. So I guess it'd be interesting to know from your perspective, I mean, since releasing this album, which has so much help, so much substance, it's for people who are struggling. Have you seen much of a change in the 20 years since you've released the album, or is it still a bit of an unknown kind of challenge?
No, I think there's been a lot of change. Obviously, we just recently lost Chester and Chris Cornell to this problem, and it's a real tragedy. I mean, I saw Chester a couple weeks before. He was happy as could be, hugging me, super cool dude. Always really liked him and respected him. And you would have never known. I mean, you see a pattern of the cry for help, and a lot of times the fans don't equate it that it's coming from the singer himself. They figure he's writing a song about someone else or another topic, that he's seen. But when you look back, I mean, it's pretty shocking. But I think the good news is that the drug use in the music industry, which has taken so many people's lives, which is a lot, and it's still a problem. I think that's really mellowed out a lot. I think people are a lot more conscious bands today. Like you could literally have had a band where like 3 out of 5 members were strung out on heroin 20 years ago, and the other 2 were doing coke and drinking.
Wow.
Like we saw that all the time, and we were partying pretty hard back in the day. But I think we saw so much tragedy and heartbreak with drug use that it's kind of straightened a lot of people out. And I mean the suicide issue is a huge issue. I mean, it's a huge issue in the world in general, but mental health and recognizing and getting people help and making people feel like when they're that low that they can still reach out. That's the problem. It's that 1 minute when you don't call your best friend, or you don't call your therapist, or you don't call a suicide prevention hotline. And, just by making that one choice, you might be gone forever. Whereas if you just reached out and you had you had just the strength to just reach out that one more time, you might have lived for another 30, 50 years. So that's the problem. People need to, kids, musicians, doesn't matter who you are, adults, you need to know that, like, there's help out there, no matter how bad you feel. If you just reach out and just give it one last effort, even though, you're trying to talk yourself out of getting help, you want to go, you can't take the pain, just reach out and try to get help one last time, because, when you're gone, you don't really realize how you affect the rest of your family and friends and fans. And the whole thing is, like, people don't understand, like, you're so deep in it. You're not trying to hurt people. You're trying to stop hurting yourself. And the pain's gotten so bad where you're willing to do anything to stop it. So I don't really agree that when people say it's a selfish act to take your own life, like, it's kind of selfish for us to not recognize how hurting this person is and understand how far gone you have to be to check out, like to take your family, friends, and everything and just put it aside and go, I'm out of here, and have no, remorse or understanding of what you're going to do when they're gone. Like, your brain is broken. So, people just got to, watch for the signs and stuff. But I think, there's a lot of awareness these days, and these 2 deaths are gonna be, even more of a warning for people out there. And I think if people are gonna, be more open with what they need. So hopefully.
And I mean, I got to say, with bands, but presences like you guys, with these such strong voices, these unrelenting voices as well, carrying the flag. I mean, there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel as long as we've got people like you guys in our corner. Yeah,
I mean, I think bands are going to write songs about it. Bands like us that have experienced it, are going to talk about it, and they're going to try to raise awareness. It's a painful subject, but at the same time, I'm super bummed because Chester had my phone number, and we knew each other. We didn't hang out all the time, but when we saw each other, we always had a great time together.
Damn.
I respect his music. He lived a mile away from me, and I just was thinking, fuck, why didn't he call me? Why didn't he just fucking call me and say, hey, let's get dinner or something? Like, he didn't call me because he was hurting, and he couldn't take the pain anymore. That's why he didn't call anybody. And so I don't know. I think bands being out there speaking on it, actors, raising awareness and trying to, keep people understanding, like, there's help out there no matter what. Just make that fucking call. And so, we're going to keep talking about it when it's necessary,
Hell yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we love this discussion in Australia. We need it just as much as kind of every other country. So thank you for nominating us to kind of to be on the list of bands to receive this album. We are really appreciative of it.
We're honored to be able to come down there and do it. We love it. We love you guys, if anyone deserves it, it's you.
It doesn't seem like it takes too much to twist Pennywise's arm into coming down to Australia.
It's definitely a good thing for us because, people pay to go on vacation in Australia.
Hell yeah.
We get to come down and drink free beer. Hang out with all our friends. So, we're looking forward to it as usual.
You can catch Pennywise for the Full Circle album, and you can catch Pennywise on their Full Circle 20th anniversary when they'll be hitting Melbourne on Friday the 27th of October, Brisbane on Saturday the 28th of October, Sydney on Sunday the 29th of October, Newcastle on Tuesday the 31st of October, Adelaide on Thursday the 2nd of November, and wrapping things up in Fremantle on Friday the 3rd of November.